So the first question I want to ask you, Professor, is how did you choose your major and career path when you were an undergraduate student?
Sure. Well, I think my experience was pretty similar to a lot of our students that I came into college expecting to major in something completely different than what I ultimately majored in, which was political science. My mom, who raised me, was very um, encouraging of me to pursue something in the hard sciences, specifically engineering. And so throughout high school, I was taking a lot of math and science courses. But when you hit that freshman orientation, maybe for that first week of classes, I really started to think really critically about the disconnect between kind of a track towards engineering and what world I saw myself living in when I imagined myself as a quote unquote adult. I was like, I see myself kind of more engaged in civics and maybe local government, and engineering doesn't really get me there. And I was thinking, what would get me there? Well, political science sounds like a really good route. I mean, it has politics in the name. So thinking back to my high school experiences, I really enjoyed history and social studies courses. I thought that's really kind of where my interests really lie. So I kind of negotiated with her for that first semester. I would take a mix of like science and math courses, and then also like, government and history courses.
Yeah.
We kind of reassess at the end of that semester. And so it was really no question for me. I was so interested in the government and history courses. So I wanted to continue to pursue that. So I was really just kind of excited about making political science my major going forward. But in terms of career path, I still didn't feel like I had a very clear picture of what would come next after college. Like pretty much all of my friends that were political science majors were all kind of in agreement. They wanted to do law school. And I felt like I didn't want to do law school. I felt pretty certain that wasn't in the cards for me, but I didn't know what else I could do. Fortunately, I
Mhm.
was able to kind of have some really good relationships with faculty. And it helped that I went to a small school, Christopher Newport University in Virginia. It was a small public liberal arts school, right? So I really got to know professors because the classes were pretty manageable.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, have you considered a PhD? And I was like, nope, I have not. What's that about? And they were like, well, maybe you do what we do, be a college professor. And I was like, well, I mean, that doesn't sound so bad. And then they really had me and they were like, and when you go to graduate school, right, you're not really kind of paying out of pocket. They're paying you. And I was like, whoa, stop there. That sounds
Mm.
fantastic. So they encouraged me to look into it. And I was able to do one of those helpful like summer programs before my senior year. They gave me some real exposure to doing some independent research in political science and taking political science level grad courses. So I came out of that summer program, which is called the Ralph Bunche Summer Institute for political science majors that might be interested, really fired up to apply to PhD programs and pursue a doctorate. I still wasn't sure I wanted to be a college professor. I kind of
Mhm.
thought somewhat naively that, with a PhD, there'd be a lot of doors open for me. Didn't realize a PhD is a very specialized, right, degree that,
Mhm.
has a lot of value for people that want to do research and educating, and maybe doesn't have the same practical value for other fields. So I definitely had to do a lot of kind of questioning and had some kind of identity crisis in grad school because I kind of plowed straight out of undergrad. But I definitely was kind of motivated to see what I could do with some more time to really develop, not just as a thinker about politics, but really to kind of innovate and generate new ideas within the field, particularly new ideas that I thought were relevant to um, how my community processed and navigated politics.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I liked hearing about your path. And I think a lot of students feel the same way when they first enter college. They are unsure of what to do, myself included. I chose something in STEM as well without really considering what goes behind it. And so I realized like we really should be choosing things that we're interested in or passionate about because it will take us farther. So thank you for sharing that experience, and I'm glad that you got to speak with mentors and things like that to help you find something, find a career path. I think that's important too, to speak with other people to see what they're doing, and that kind of helps you figure out like what you like and what you don't like. So thank you for sharing that.